ZoroSanji versus Green Yellow Law in the finals. What an insane day. Chat, I can't believe we stayed up for this. This absolutely crazy match. ZoroSanji with that Dawn ×1 when attacking once per turn. You can pick up one of your 2 cost or less characters on the field, and if you do, you can restand a character on your field of 7,000 power or less. Proved to be very strong earlier in the top 16 round. Facing off against Green Yellow Law, another kind of aggressive deck in this game. It's going to be interesting to see which aggro deck comes out on top within this one. You know, the Supernova package, or maybe this kind of like East Blue Fishman package that we've got going on with the ZoroSanji. Our friends over at Nengarden have officially kicked off the summer sale on their website. Prices are slashed from 10% to 40% across the entire store now. You can pick up some crazy discounts on One Piece based mats like the Heavenly Yaksha, some great anime themed mats like Paranormal Playmat and also the Curse vs. Beast, as well as if you get a Sun God playmat right now while supplies last. Every purchase of this specific Stitched Edge playmat gets a free playmat tube as well to help protect what you love, as well as a brand new pre-order that's dropped in the Pokemon region if you're a fan of Final Boss, which the colors on this are insane, man. I love this design. You can use my code Atrocious to save an extra 5% off and help support the channel, and make sure to grab your new favorite playmat while this sale's going on because you don't want to miss it. Now back to the video. All right, chat, life is going out. Here it is. It's the finals. ZoroSanji versus Green Yellow Law. The finals that nobody predicted. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody predicted this finals. And if they say they did, they're a liar. I don't know what I would have said would won today, though. I probably would have said, like, Blue Purple Luffy. Looking at this Green Yellow Law hand, has a pretty decent hand, I think, to start, especially after a mulligan hand. Has a couple different searchers with the 1-drop Luffy and the 2-drop Kid and Killer, but also has some good 2Ks in the Zeus, Capone Beige, and the 5-cost Restand Law. The ZoroSanji has a pretty decent hand, I feel like, right? You've got a couple searchers in the Namis as well in the early game. You've got the Dracul Mihawk Vivi combo, right? To be able to draw cards, fill up the hand a little bit with some pieces of the puzzle and maybe a little bit of poke damage in the coming turns. Honestly, it doesn't look like a bad hand from either side. It looks like we're going to have a pretty fair game overall. I would say maybe advantage in the hand a little bit is the Green Yellow Law, especially going first, but starting off is going to play that 1-drop Supernova Searcher Luffy. Yo, what's going on, Turtle? Or the 1-drop, going to look for a couple different 5-drops. You see a Cavendish right there, as well as a 5-drop Trafalgar Law Blocker. Going to be 2 cards that are very important and probably the 2 key cards that you're looking for. Cavendish going to be the option. Excellent grab off of this. Can't be mad. Eustace Captain Kidd also being in this list is a really interesting note on top of that. I'm really curious about this Green Yellow Law build, to be honest. Passes off the turn to the ZoroSanji, going to 2 Dawn. Right on the 2 Dawn, plenty of options in the Namis. Easily a search option, right? Looks at that top 5 and finds an East Blue type card. This deck comprising in the East Blue category, lots of different Fishman Pirates type cards, but finds a 4-cost Zoro. The 4-cost Zoro is actually going to be really nice potentially in the next turn. That's that EBO2 4-cost Zoro that rests a 4-cost or less character and then has the ability to swing into characters on the turn that it's played. Could actually be really nice in this specific matchup because with Trafalgar Law, they need to have a total cost of characters of 5 or more. If you go in and get rid of one of these pesky searchers that the Trafalgar Law has, that puts them one step farther and maybe 1 turn farther away from being able to use leader effect, right? And especially if you get rid of the searchers, that means they can't pick them back up and reutilize them. So actually a really cool tech in this matchup. The Kid Killer now going to be played for this Green Yellow Law. Going to be looking at the top 5 for a Supernova. Going to be really nice on that on opponent's attack if they have that 1 of room tech in the deck. But on this Supernova search. Has a couple different options. Could grab a 2K in that Beige, but has plenty of 1K options. 2 costs in the Kid Killer and the other Capone Beige, right? Kid Killer being able to grab itself, or maybe grabbing the 5-cost restand Trafalgar Law. Kind of thinking about right now the 2-cost Beige at this point. Yeah, I think if they played Kid like a Red Rock would probably be what happens, right? And if you played Red Rock, you would have to have the Tashigi on field, right? And I don't think he plays Tashigi. Is going to grab that 5-cost starter deck O2 Law, right? A great option for the aggression, right, that you can put in this game. Has 1 Dawn left at this point. Is just going to swing 6,000 power lead. Going to try to force a 2K out of hand. Maybe take a life. And it looks like taking a life is going to be what happens at this point. Is going to grab another 3-cost Vivian. So on this draw, going to 8 cards in hand. Could go ahead and play this Dracula Mihawk and Vivi combo to go down to 6 cards in hand and draw more off of the effect of Vivi, right? Because Vivi draws if you have 6 or less in hand and you're a multicolored leader. We see the Smoker in there. Smoker, a great card to play in the coming turns. But first, the Dracula Mihawk coming in and the Zoro actually coming in sideways. Still going to be able to rest one of the Law's characters, and maybe this is just a better play at this point, right? Like I mentioned, just trying to get rid of these bodies on the field. And so now a 2,000 power swing going to go at the Kid Killer. Is going to go ahead, use the when attacking, or I mean on opponent's attack effect, right, to restand a Dawn. Same effect basically as taking the knockout. And so on that swing right here, this is actually a really cool combo. I didn't think about this. On this restand right here of the when attacking, he's going to pick up the Nami and restand the Zoro. So now the Green Yellow Law can't go ahead and swing at that 4-cost Zoro that was played on the field through the Dracula Mihawk. I will post the ZoroSanji list in the Discord. Yeah, they always post the deck list after the tournament ends, and they always post the first and second place list. So I will post both of those in the Discord when I see them. Cavendish does come down now for the Green Yellow Law on this 5 Dawn turn. Restands 2 Dawn. Is going to go ahead and go and play the Beige. Beige is going to be able to set up his life to be able to play a good character out onto the field. Looks like the restand Law is going to be the option. Definitely, honestly, at this point, I feel like not a great... I mean, it's a fine start. It's a good start at this point, but I would much rather have the blocker Law right now coming off of this instead of the restand Law. Now swings 6,000 power at lead. Has a couple different options in the hand in the future turns, like that 7-cost Law that we talked about, the secret rare that was so good in the last top 4 round. So you got to think right here, is it worth giving up a 2K right now? If you give up a 2K right now, you can maybe... I don't think you play the Vivi at all, though. Is just going to go ahead, use that 2K coming out of OP12. Use the leader effect to pick up the Capone Beige because they have more than 5 costs and play out that Law. Now, you don't get to restand anything on the Law's effect, but you get to put a 2K back in hand. You get that body on the field, right, to match the aggression that this ZoroSanji is going to bring, especially now on a 6-Dawn turn when the 5-drop Smoker could come down onto the field. Is going to start out with a 5K poke right here. Is thinking about pitching the Perona at this point. Says, you know what? I got the Luffy on the field. If I use leader effect, I might just be picking up this Luffy, right? And being able to reutilize that. And I can grab most everything that I want from the Luffy in comparison to the Perona, which maybe whiffs 1 or 2 more cards that maybe you want to utilize. So now the ZoroSanji looking at what they want to do with the rest of this turn. Might be one of those things where you attach... There's no way he would pick up one of these characters, right? He is going to pick up the Dracula Mihawk. Maybe go in with the Dracula Mihawk? What could he do with the Dracula Mihawk? He could go and play the Vivi. He could go play the Nami. No, I don't think he can play Nami. But it is just going to be a 2K on the 6,000 power swing. And now, again, once more, a poke of 5,000. These 5,000 pokes from restanding off the ZoroSanji effect, putting in so much work within this tournament and within this game is going to prompt potentially a 2K on this Zeus to be able to not go down to 1 life so quickly. This is a fascinating matchup and a fascinating game, chat. Oh, he could play the Cavendish with the Mihawk. That might actually be what he's doing. You might be right about that, Cola TCG. Going ahead with that Dracula Mihawk, and just like YouTube chat was saying, playing out that Cavendish going to be very nice, right, for the next turn when it gets to swing, because with that next turn, you're going to be able to draw 2, trash 1, do a little bit of filtering and drawing, and then with the rest of the 2, plays the Nami. The Nami finding East Blue cards, find some 2Ks in the Hachan, right, as well as maybe the Zoro. Does these... No, I don't think he can grab the Zoro. But he grabs the Hachan anyways, right? Nice 2K body to be able to protect some of these characters. This Zoro, this Cavendish, right? So finding another 7-drop Law. On your 7 Dawn turn, being able to have the 7-drop Law might be in a situation where he needs to think about leaving Dawn up for these different counter events, right? He might need to go in at these bodies to try to get this pressure off the field, right? These different pokes. He doesn't have the blockers that he can typically utilize in the Kyoshiro, the Capone Beige, right, in this game, the 5-drop Trafalgar Law. So you've got to be able to resist somehow within this. Yo, what's up, Lazarifications? And so now at 6,000 power, where is that going, though? Going at that Zoro right there, so it is going to prompt that Hachan 2K if he wants to give that up. I feel like you give up the Hachan 2K, right? You just revealed it, but no, lets it go. Maybe it just values the Cavendish a little bit more. And here comes the 7-cost Law. 7-cost Law, a great card within this deck. Being able to put a 5-cost or less Supernova, or actually just puts any Supernova, right? Puts any Supernova into the life, typically being a 5-cost to cheat out with the leader effect. And so this now the Rested Dawn goes to the leader, is going to be able with Cavendish to restand Dawn and potentially do it twice using leader effect to restand the Cavendish. Might also try to utilize that 1-drop Luffy searcher, right, as well with some of the restood Dawn. Starts out 6,000 power swing and restands to Dawn. Think deciding if he, it looks like going at life, maybe ignoring the Cavendish now. Should you swing at the Cavendish though? Takes that life, goes down to 2, getting another 2K in the hand with the Hachan. Now uses the leader effect to be able to pick that Luffy up, reveal that Law, play it down on the field, and restand the Cavendish to get that extra value. One of the reasons why this combo is so strong within this game right now, right? Just being able to restand Cavendish and be able to utilize that absolutely broken effect. That's why players in our YouTube chat, like right, our live stream, Twitch and YouTube chat, were cheering when Cavendish got revealed for the reprint. It's just such a good card, and it's definitely going down in price as we speak, more than likely. Swinging now on this second swing with Cavendish at 7,000 power, I think is going at lead once again, just increasing the power a little bit at a time. Is going to go down to 1. Definitely a risky one, I feel like. And Vanderdecken is in the hand. Has plenty of options to be able to discard a Fishman card off the Vanderdecken, right, and KO one of these characters. Is going to attach 1 Dawn onto the Law and swing 7,000 power yet again. Leaves only 2 cards in hand, 1 for the Luffy, maybe 1 for the Asura 9-sword style. Looks like swinging 7 at the Cavendish. Is he swinging 7 at the Cavendish? No, he must have been swinging at lead. I thought they said Cavendish, but ends up being a 2K, 1K combo to get out on the 8. The Luffy going to be able to maybe find a, or I'm sorry, he had way more than 2 cards in hand. He had 4 before that Luffy search. Does find a 2K X-Drake, but also finds a 5-cost Trafalgar Law, that you can potentially play within the next turn is thinking about that Capone Beige. Capone Beige, maybe one of the better of the options of the 2Ks, right? Instead of that X-Drake, just simply because if you top deck or maybe get off of life a 5-cost Supernova character, you would be able then to be able to use that effect to be able to cheat it out. And so now passing it off to the ZoroSanji, moving into an 8 Dawn turn. The Smoker's still sitting in hand as we didn't opt to play it in the last turn. Vanderdecken may come down. We could see Vanderdecken. We've got one Fishman Pirate card in the hand in the Hachan, but the thing is, it's our only 2K in hand. So how bad do we want it, right? Is it worth giving up that one 2K? I will agree with Grass Dog in the chat. I think Trafalgar Law kind of stabilizing with that 7-drop Law and being able to find, another 2K, finding multiple 9-sword style Asoras, right? You're going to be able to get out of these swings. Apologies for the hiccup. And starting off with a 6,000 power swing is going to be a draw 2 trash 1. Just filtering the hand says, you know what, Smoker, not going to be able to be utilized within this matchup. I'm just going to get rid of it. It's a non-counter card. I drew 2 counter cards. Those are just more valuable at this point. And so still have to get out of this 7,000 power swing. Maybe asking like how many cards are in hand at this point. It looks like 8 cards in total. Ends up taking the first life. It's a 1-drop Luffy. The 1-drop Luffy may be nice. You may be able to go ahead and grab a 5-cost character to be able to play. Yeah, I will say, especially with these 7-cost laws, the long-term game looking much more favorable, especially with a board state that looks like this, right? Trafalgar Law having 4 6,000 power or higher characters on the field, while ZoroSanji just has 1. Now that 1 can swing twice in the Cavendish, it's still looking a little rough. You may have a lot of cards in hand and a lot of counter, but that counter can dwindle very, very fast in this game. Definitely a difficult situation, I feel like, if you're the ZoroSanji. Making it to finals is crazy, by the way. You gotta imagine that probably playing a Kyoshiro at this point, right? At least 1 blocker. May even think about playing 2, as you've got all 4 in hand. Attaches 3 to the ZoroSanji leader and goes in, swings, picks up the Nami, restands the Cavendish, is going at leader. Hasen leader, 8,000 power lead. I think ZoroSanji can technically go for lethal at this point. It's just with the 1 Dawn up and still 1 life left with 5 cards. You're not loving your chances at this point. Ends up starting out with the 9-sword style demonic. It is 3,000 power, so you do have to give up this Searcher Luffy as well at this point. And still 2 swings to go. Now, no Dawn left. He could potentially go for game, right? If you attach 3, you could swing 7, 8 at this point. 3 to the Dracul Mihawk, swing 7, and then attach 2 to the Cavendish and swing 8 and hope that he doesn't have enough counter anyways? Let's see if he sees it at this point. Obviously, the player on the ZoroSanji doesn't know the hand like we know the hand. This is the same math right here. I think he is going to go 7 and 8. I think he is going to go 7 and 8. Oh my gosh, chat. He might just win here. ZoroSanji might just win. If he gets a 2K, he wins. It's nothing. Is he going to do it? No, he's going to go passive. Okay, but he's playing 2 blockers though. So he's got 2 Kyoshiros down onto the field, and he has so much counter in hand, right? He's got 1 2K and a whole bunch of 1Ks. Grabs a 5-cost off of life. Oh my goodness. I don't think that was a bad play by the ZoroSanji, let's be honest, because with the different cards in hand and having plenty of different searchers, you're kind of just like, you have a bad feeling when they are that confident, right? And so uses the demonic 9-sword style event to rest all those blockers. Cavendish going to be able to restand 2 of those Dawn back. Now goes ahead. Is he going to swing 7 or 8 at this point? Definitely tough. I mean, you see the first Asura, 9-sword style Demon Asura, and you're like, there's no way he has the second. And then he just goes in and has the second. Just Chay, you got to think about, he doesn't have the knowledge of the hand like we do. I don't think it was a terrible play. It obviously wasn't the best play, right? But with the knowledge that he had, I can see how he goes there, and I think that's a pretty reasonable play. But the thing about the green yellow law, he still has to get this math correct on this turn. Is going to use Cavendish, right, to swing 8,000 power and restand 2 Dawn. 5 active Dawn left in this turn for 3-4 characters as well as the leader. Now with an 8,000 power swing, it kind of puts this blue-green ZoroSanji in an awkward position because you don't have 2 2Ks, so ends up taking the life. What is it? It's a Dracula Mihawk, which is a 2K, which is really nice. Is going to go ahead, play down that Trafalgar Law to restand the Cavendish. Swing the Cavendish yet again to restand 2 Dawn. Is going to be 2K, 2K to get out of it. Just simple pokes now at this point, 9,000 power, and it looks like Green Yellow Law is going to be, wait, is he going to be the champion? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he's going to be the champion. Green Yellow Law is going to be the champion. Getting out of it with 10,000 power, 5 1Ks, and the 7,000 power swing is going to get into this best of 1 championship. Green Yellow Law becoming the champion of this match. Definitely a thrilling one, and one that could have been absolutely crazy. The ZoroSanji did definitely have an out to be able to claim that win, right? But, you know, that's kind of what happens sometimes. Sometimes you take the 50-50 gamble, right? And you lose that 50-50 gamble. Definitely a great run, though, and really shows the strength of this deck, right? Really shows the strength of the ZoroSanji.